Hello there, Tolkien fanatics, and welcome back to the next video in our heroic actions series. So last time I talked about the heroics in the shoot phase, and now we are moving on to the phase that has the most heroics in it, and that is actually the fight phase, and it is the last phase that has heroic actions available in it. So I said I was going to try and do this in under 20 minutes, but I lied, and I'm going to actually go ahead and split this up into two videos, as you could probably tell by the title since I put this Heroic Actions Part 1 for the fight phase. So there are 5 heroics that occur in the fight phase, which is why I wanted to split it into two videos. I thought it would be a better idea to just go ahead and try and split it into two, keep them short. I'm seeing that folks kind of prefer shorter videos, and I think that's kind of a better way to go anyway for this. If we're talking about learning the game, you would prefer, I think, a short video just going over stuff instead of having to try and surf through 20 to 30 minutes worth of content to find specific stuff you want. So I will be doing longer videos in the future, I promise, but those would probably be more like, practice game playthroughs when we go over a lot of stuff like these heroic actions and like the steps of a fight phase and whatnot, and play through just a practice game. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the first 3 heroics today, and I'm going to save the biggest 2, in my opinion, for the next video. So the 3 I'm going to cover today, sorry, I got a little something in my throat right now. Allergies, crazy. But the 3 I'm going to cover today are the Heroic Defense, Heroic Challenge, and Heroic Strength. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Heroic Defense because I think this is one that's underutilized but is something that you should definitely think about doing. If you have a hero you're trying to protect for certain scenarios like assassination or fog of war, or the warrior, or not the warrior, the hero has an object that you need them to hold on to, and death would cause them to lose that object. So a hero model that declares a heroic defense will only suffer a wound on the roll of a natural 6 in the ensuing fight phase, regardless of any modifiers or brutal power attacks. If the hero would usually be wounded on a 6x4, 6x5, or 6x6, then they would only be wounded if both rolls are natural rolls of a 6. Note the hero model's mount is not affected by heroic defense. So I personally think that if you're going to have to do a heroic defense, you're probably in a situation, like I said, where the hero you're trying to keep alive is very valuable for either victory points or valuable for objectives. And usually objectives play into victory points. So there you go. That's kind of a double-edged sword there. Two sides of the same coin. There you go. That's a better analogy. So I think this is one of the ones that is very, very powerful because it does not state that you can't strike wounds. So if you win the fight phase for the dual roll, you can still strike. I haven't seen any FAQs that say otherwise as of yet. So that's one that you should definitely think about doing if you're in that situation. Because if you can go ahead and win, why not strike back while also keeping yourself alive? And the biggest thing is that it does require natural 6s to wound you. So that's very good for some of the beefier heroes that are like defense 8, defense 9, where strength 4 on a defense 9 would be wounded by 6s by 4s. Well, now it's 6s by 6s. So you just really increase the odds against your opponent being able to wound your hero. So that's heroic defense. Moving on, let's talk about heroic strength. Heroic Strength is a hero model who declares this action adds D3 to their strength characteristic for the duration of the fight phase. This cannot increase a hero model strength above 10. Note that this bonus is applied before other effects that affect nice effects and effect in the same sentence. That's cool. A model strength such as the Wither magical power. So there you go. It's kind of like striking up for your fight value and then coming down. I know I haven't talked about heroic strike yet, but for those who know what that is already, you would have the bonus added on and then any negative consequences taken afterwards. And that's usually how that works in that situation. But more importantly to what this heroic does, adding D3 to your strength is pretty cool. And this can be stacked with things like Piercing Strike. So if you're Piercing Strike and you go up to, we'll say you're a Strength 4 model because you're a hero, go up to Strength 5, you've got Heroic Strength, you could be talking a Strength 8 hero. That is nothing to laugh at. That is really going to be chopping down, pretty much anything in your path. Defense 6 models, you're wounding them on 3s. Defense 7 models, you're wounding them on 4s. Yeah, same for defense 8. You don't care about what your enemy's got. So that is a really good one right there for heroic strength. And then lastly, the one I wanted to talk about is heroic challenge. So this actually depends on a hero's tier, their heroic tier. So I haven't talked about heroic tiers yet. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video after this series is complete, talking about heroic tiers. So basically, a hero that is in base contact with an enemy hero of the same tier may declare a heroic challenge. If the enemy hero accepts the heroic challenge, all other models that are part of the same combat, including supporting models, may not roll dice for the dual roll, provide their fight value to the fight, or make strikes if their side wins the fight. From this point on, both hero models involved in a heroic challenge must charge each other if able to do so until one of them has been slain. Other models may not charge either of the hero models involved in the heroic challenge. Whichever hero is successful in slaying their opponent, they must be the one to cause the final blow, will immediately gain D3 might points. This can take them above their starting value. If the challenge is declined, then any heroic actions called by the declining hero will not affect other friendly models until the hero who issued the challenge is slain. So there's a lot there. So let's just go back and start with the beginning. I talked about heroic tiers, like I said, so you have to be similar tiers or higher. So if you're a hero of fortitude, and the biggest one who does this is Shagrat, by the way, you can challenge any heroic tier above you. So Shagrat, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, is a fortitude because there's a lot of buzz about him and having challenge. He can challenge any hero. And not only does he have challenge, but he also has strike. So the first turn he calls it, you got to remember, you can only call one heroic a turn, or one heroic per phase. So he would be challenging on his first turn. He wouldn't be able to strike, but the next turn he would be able to strike. So you can challenge that. So that's the tiers. I think I beat that dead horse there. You can challenge any hero with an equal or higher tier to you. So from that point on, you are locked into combat. You must charge each other. Now, the key to that is that you must charge each other. So having priority is huge here. So if you're a mounted hero, like let's say Imrahil, my favorite, on his armored horse with lance, and I have the priority, I want to be able to charge into the guy I'm trying to kill, who I have challenged or been challenged by, because that'll give me not only my charge bonus if they're infantry and getting my extra attack, but also my lance bonus for charging. So that's another big one, okay? And then finally, you get D3 might points. Now, it does say that this can take you above your starting level, which is huge. It'd be really awesome if you could call a challenge in turn 1 and end up killing the guy. Especially if you're a 3 might hero and that's your first point of might you spent. Now you're going to go back to 5 might if you can roll a 5 or 6 because it's D3 might. So you got a potential there of getting up to 5 might. That's really awesome. Or getting charged by an enemy hero and killing them, and they've declared it, and you can get up to 6 might. So pretty cool. The other thing is that you have to be, your hero or enemy hero has to be the one to slay, to cause a final wound. So I'm assuming situations like this, you're talking about evil armies shooting into combat, seeing as the only real way to wound outside of the fight phase is shooting or with magical powers like Flame Burst, Sorcerer's Blast, and maybe even a Hurl. You could say, because that's kind of outside of combat, even though it occurs in the fight phase. So if a Hurl or any of those other things I mentioned were to deal the final killing blow, then the challenger or challengee does not get that D3 might. So you got to be careful how you do that, and that's kind of interesting too, because I just thought about that. That's a good way to maybe mess with how your opponent, if they challenge you, if you have the ability to do such a thing with a hurl or a magical power. And then lastly, if you decline it, your heroic actions will only affect you. So no ability to call loose, no ability to call take aim, no ability to call at the double, no ability to call, what's the other one for movement? With me. So you got to be really careful with that. I will say I've been challenged once and I made the foolish mistake of accepting it. And it was Glorfindel against my Forlong the Fat and Forlong got utterly smashed. It was disgusting. So those are the three I wanted to go over real quick: Heroic Defense, Heroic Strength, and Heroic Challenge. So next time I will come back and I will talk about Heroic Fight and Heroic Strike. And these three, I just want to add one last thing. I'm sorry. These are specific. So they're not universal heroics. They have to be specifically listed in your hero's profile, and I'll leave a link to the video in the cards above to my how to understand a profile video if you're not sure where to find heroic actions at. So Heroic Defense, Heroic Strength, and Heroic Challenge. They are specific heroics, and there's some pretty cool ones. Not seen as much as I would like, but they are pretty cool. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please leave any comments below with content or rules you'd like to see me cover. That'll help me kind of keep a schedule for this channel. And as always, everyone, please take care and enjoy the Tolkien universe, and I will see you next time.